Next, we have a virtual XR collaboration platform for a lifelike social experience. Please welcome Connec2.
We're going to do things totally different this time. So bear with me. My name is Bart. I'm product owner at Connec2, and I would love you to take you on this journey I'm going to show you right here. Looks like a presentation, but looks might be deceiving. So before I tell you what we do, I want to explain to you and sketch to you how the future will look. And I can do that by showing you these devices. So we have a VR headset from Meta and a HoloLens from Microsoft. And of course, you all guys heard of the term metaverse. But it's not about devices. And it's looking at it and seeing a communication platform, just like the internet, before it became popular. It's all about the data. The future for these devices, as you can see already, is wireless. But currently, they don't have any SIM or any connectivity on board. It all uses Wi-Fi. But just like mobile phones, they're going to be connected. And of course, with these devices, getting more and more people, and of course, not in this form factor, but more sleeker designs at some point, just like mobile phones, you want to have data connections that are really low latency and have a lot of bandwidth. Because you can imagine all these devices, they're going to be immersive. And latency is killing for an immersive experience. Also, it's about connecting people and technology. So a lot of times when people use these applications or these headsets or even devices, it looks like a single person experience. One person on the headset doing one thing at a time. We believe we can connect these things. And not just people, but also their technology. So imagine companies already creating a lot of data, technology, in forms of 3D engineering models, but also like digital simulations of an actual machine. But there's too much hassle to get that data and information inside these devices. There's applications out there like Unity or Unreal, but you will need actual developers, which are really hard to come by, and they're not the focus of your company. Your company is trying to do something different. For example, if we look to the architecture, construction, and engineering industry, it's about creating buildings for a better life. And we know there's a lot of buildings are being built right now, worldwide. So how do we do this? Well, at Connec2, we want to make it accessible. Because currently, if you want to make something for these devices, you have to hire a developer, have to create content, have to make something from scratch. But we want it to be more tangible. So let's say you look at it like PowerPoint. You can do it yourself. But instead of adding a photo or bullets, you're going to use your company's engineering model and maybe instructions from your instructor who can just do it because it's immersive. You can just play on record, explain what's happening, and you can just sync it. So we have this PowerPoint in which you can easily create your own content with your own existing data. In such a way, you can also maintain sovereignty of the data. It's your data, it's your project, it's your technology. So let's say I want to demonstrate some of these features for the architecture, engineering, construction industry. How would that look like? Well, that's a bit hard to explain on a screen like this, so maybe it's even better, just like it says there, work together without boundaries, to bring some of my colleagues inside of this presentation to just give a small glimpse. So if the lights are going out now, I'm going to show you the journey of some of our customers, big and small, by showing with my colleague Patrick and Stefan. Hi guys, maybe you guys can say hello for the audience.
Hey Bart, good to be here. Hey.
Great. How some of our customers in this industry, big and small, because we have some clients that are really big in Holland, but also small clients, how they use this technology we created to encompass their own designs. So let's say we want to show you how to build stuff. There's going to be a lot of construction people out there in the future, and we need more buildings to be built, but we need more training. So we have a client that uses our technology to incorporate their drawings in such a way new people can train not only faster, but more sustainable and durable, because you don't need as much material for this training if it would be like physical with actual wood. And in this case, it's really interesting to see even the first responses for people using it. They even like it more in some cases than traditional learnings. But let's say you already built something, but you want to show different showcases. You want to show the actual customer, you want to engage with them. We have a client that makes like tiny houses, but for like this new dimension, because you know, land is getting more and more expensive. So this is like a small, tiny house in the water. But of course you want to sell them the full experience, which is not just this boat. Maybe with a flick of a button, you can add like this, you know, full experience. And in this way, with just a click of a button, the person who made this own model can make like this virtual representation of this virtual deck and even celebrate with their existing or new customer on the options they've chosen. So with just a click of a button, they can make things interactive as well. Or even look at the distance on their yet to be built, you know, spot they have to still, you know, attain from their landlord or wherever they were going to place the boat. So they can go up deck and get the full experience of every space. Again, the person who made this wasn't an engineer. He just created this model because he needs that model anyways in its current process. But now with just a small, simple device, he can show them all the options. But of course, this is something that is engineered in such a way it's done. You're going to build 10 of those, and that's okay. But maybe in some cases, there's even things that are yet to be determined on how they should be built. I mean, the architect has certain ideas, construction company has certain ideas, but let's say you want to build a hospital with like hundreds of the same rooms, but eventually in this hospital people will work. And if they only see the design at some point when it's finished and it's not okay, you have to change a lot of things. These are failure costs. And a lot of failure costs are in construction because of bad decision making up front. But in this case, the colleagues can just join in, do a virtual feedback design review session, and for instance, make like annotations in this space by changing this power socket to a different position. And in this way, normally, I don't know if you guys know this, but normally for tens of thousands of euros, they create cardboard prototypes of these spaces. Like with cardboard walls and such, all kinds of stuff, while the actual construction company already has this digital model, which is like on par with the actual thing. Even with the products like you see in here. But imagine if your physical space not only has a lot of stuff in it, let's say you're in the industry, you want to work with machines, imagine making those machines interactive by powering them with digital simulations running on the back end. So it's your simulation, not ours. You can power the model with your own technology, with your own data. In such a way you might use it for training or whatever. Lots of things you can think of. But the really cool part is, and that's the dot on the horizon, that's also what you see when you look at the presentations from Meta and Microsoft, is the big metaverse. And it's not about, you know, virtualizing physical things, it's also in the future to create virtual worlds. And that's what Connec2 stands for. We want to create a virtual world, which is not only based on servers in the US, but also within companies in Europe in such a way it can be used and be accessible to anyone. Whether you're a big company or a small company, it's easy to start. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Maybe you can elaborate a bit more on the necessity of 5G, because what I've seen is quite a lot what would happen inside, and then you can use Wi-Fi as well. So why would you need the 5G element in this one?
So we believe in a standalone surface. So probably you wouldn't be, we see a lot of things happening for, let's say, companies that have internal settings for Wi-Fi and such, but they're not optimal for this new immersive technology most of the time. So being able with 5G hub partners to create like a off-site solution with also low latency connections, and also if there's going to be a place where there's a lot of, let's say, people going around, or also maybe a lot of interference of where you are at that space with technology from like 5G, like slicing the data in such a way it can be accessed like optimal for the immersive experience, whether that's a training, remote training, or like a digital twin. That's something that would be really interesting to take into account when looking at 5G and this technology, if that makes sense.
Another question with regard to sustainability. Have you also looked at to what extent your solution solve some of the issues in terms of sustainability, looking for example, towards the SDGs, like the other organizations have been doing?
So currently we did some market validation with the use cases I've just shown. What was your question again for the?
To what extent does your solution solve a problem in terms of sustainability?
Yeah, so like I mentioned with failure costs, like 10% of the of the investments when building new buildings, it's because of bad decision making. Because people think they are building something for an end user, but it's not what they wanted, or it's built wrong way because there are a lot of people, a lot of different companies collaborating in big projects. So just making that decision making not only faster, but even better for the end user, while at the same time lowering costs while making those buildings, that's one point. But if you look at other markets, because this is just the architecture, engineering, construction, but if you look to the industry section, we have, for instance, a party who is interested in making like a virtual collaborated digital twin of a machine which is very complicated. They only have one to train new people, and it will take a lot of weeks to train the people to use it. And when people start using it, of course, they need to use it, but if they break it, you have downtime. And again, at some point that will also create a lot of extra costs.